Alright everybody, back to Division 7, ladies and gentlemen. We have Tactical Suicide against Golden Power, not to be mixed up with a Golden Shower. That's something different, but there is a good chance that one of the team gets shit on anyways. So looking at this right now, we have to obviously throw out our little caveat for Division 7, but let me introduce our players first. On the left side, Greer on Johanna, Bronze Forever on the Lost Vikings, already a promising start. Who Am I on the Thrall, Mixon on Alexstrasza, and Wakizashi on Lunara. And on the right side of the map, we're having Golden Power with Koro on Varian, Necron on ETC, Deroniac on Reyna, Levane on Anduin, and Negative on Kel'Thas. So, again, Division 7 is the lowest league in the Heroes Launch Amateur leagues. So the lowest division in that. So that means that all of the players are usually between bronze and gold on average. And all of the games that we're casting here are pretty much designed to just make fun of the plays a little bit, try to use some of these things also for educational purposes, pretty much tell people how to not do it, and play around that. Players are aware of this in Division 7. There's regular setups where I ask if anyone has a problem to let me know, and then I'm going to look for different games. So I have to throw a little caveat out there, because there's always people that seem to make an effort to be offended on behalf of others. So just in case, there was no feelings that got hurt into production of this video. And again, you wouldn't believe the amount of replays that I get sent these days with people asking, hey, we've seen the Division 7 commentary, could you please maybe cover our game as well? So as the game starts, we have already a 5-man setup all the way up to the top, or 4-man pretty much. Well, shouldn't really discount good old Belloc, but still. Well, maybe you should discount him. That's when you have someone on a lower level play Vikings. The gang that was set up there didn't quite work out. So I have to talk about the draft a little bit, but ooh, Anduin and that little cheetah actually saves ETC. Nicely done. Levane with a good move there. But Vikings normally put you into a spot where you're trying to have Vikings soak 3 lanes, and that allows your 4-man to roam free on the map, because you won't lose out on experience. Now, the Vikings don't have to push the lanes out. That's actually really important to know, because a lot of people think that they need to use the Vikings to push the lanes at the same time, and that's definitely not the case. If you catch experience, that's all that you have to do there at the end of the day, and then you can try and use your wave clear later on when there's an objective on the map. Kel'Thas face-checking the bush and going full front line. Usually that doesn't work out that well, and this game is no different. So guys, again, if you are running into a bush with any kind of range hero, please either check the bush with one of your spells, or let someone else have a quick look into the bush first, or exactly what we just saw will happen to you too, and you're going down. But I wanted to talk a little bit about the draft, and the interesting part is that a lot of the guys that are actually playing here are also subscribers on Twitch, and they, as soon as they realized that this game was about to be casted, they were talking about it a little bit. Nah, that would have been great if Deronic actually falls here. And so apparently there was a bit of a miscommunication happening around the Viking pick in particular. The Vikings were hovered without the intention to actually take them, and then there was a very decisive call to take something else in time, and as you can imagine, that didn't quite happen. So the Vikings got locked in, and now they also had to shift some of their roles around. Question then again is obviously if that makes a difference at all or not. For the time being, they at least got the first kill in the game. But let's just say that the draft itself wasn't quite intentional. Of course, then you have to ask yourself how much in Division 7 is really intentional. Because a lot of what we're normally seeing here doesn't really feel like there's any kind of concrete reasoning behind it. But either way, we're having, at this point, the first objective spawning topside, mixing currently on Alex, which means we're going to see the Dragon Queen being popped eventually. And we also have now Alpha Wolf as a potential pick on 16, because we're having the Frostwolf pack. Now that's a little bit of an early Dragon Queen, to tell you the truth. Normally you're trying to get that. I don't really think you needed it here. I mean, Mixon definitely use the reasoning, hey, we have more than 20 of our stacks already, so if I take the Dragon Queen, we pretty much secure that. But I don't really think that in this case he really needed to go for it. Now, you've probably seen, oh, that was a bad bait. That was a bad bait. Just in front of the walls, the Punisher gets now max value. Always bait that bad boy over the wall so that your fort actually helps out. But coming back to Alexstrasza, if you don't need to pop the Dragon Queen, don't pop it on the Shrine, wait for the push and pop it then. In this case, he did it a bit early, still worked out for them, especially now since they get the kill against Reyna too, so they have that. And at the same time, we have also, I haven't even talked about this yet, we have the Meme Blades! We have Varian on the other side with the Meme Blades here in play. ETC went into the Prog Rock, which I also find interesting because, sorry, not the Prog, the Echo Paddle I find interesting, because I more so saw him in the main tank position, but right now, he actually goes into a setup which would allow him to go for a stage dive and then play the off lane and try and play a macro aspect here. So it's a little bit of a curious one. Good connect here also with the Wolf as they're going for ETC again. Seems like he's going to get away from it this time. But coming back to ETC for just a second. The ETC setup here, I would have personally really preferred for him to go into more of a focus here on the face melt. At least the 13 should be coming in too, because his job will be in the team fights to keep people away from Kalthas and also from Jimmy. The build on Anduin, pretty much the norm that we usually see here, obviously with Meme Blades taken, with Varian thinking that he can actually make a difference there. We're having now High King's Quest claimed, and we have the second wind as well. They're starting to get the pressure in as the blue team starts to push. And the Vikings are still soaking. Vikings still soaking, not overstepping, taking it easy. The choke and pollen that we are seeing right now, there's a little bit this taste of bile in the back of my throat as I'm looking for anything that I can puke into. How can you not take Splintered Spear? I know Wakizashi, he's watching this stream a lot, he's watching the videos. How can anybody that actually watches my videos and commentary regularly not go into Splintered Spear and take the choke and pollen? How can that actually happen? Alright, we have to talk. Either way, level 10 is ready, and currently they're actually killing it. I mean, at this point we're Varian already down, so he gets eliminated. And yeah, with the level 10s, Thornwood Vines for the poke. I like that. Trying to at least yeah, win. Like, trying to mount up just in the range of the opponent's team might not be the hottest idea that you had today. But he gets out regardless. But if that is a connect with a Blessed Shield or anything and slows from Lunara, then it's a bit of a different story there. I gotta admit that this Vikings pick currently actually works out for them, and I'm really surprised. I mean, that wasn't even intentional. That's probably why it works out. If they would have gone for a draft where they say, okay guys, this draft is the shit, this draft is gonna win, then it probably would have been completely demolished. But as they were forced into it and didn't really intend to do it, all of a sudden they accidentally picked something that is working out for them. I mean, we're not that far in just yet, so that might still turn. But I mean, it's 3 kills against 0. So far, things have been looking good. There's the stage dive, as expected, but, well, ETC is still on the wrong lane for that. Here comes the slows, Lunara comes in, but no kill. They steal the camp, though. So they get the camp here. We have Anduin, this time without the bomb. Instead, it's Salvation. His little holy world here. Pyroblast also. And yeah, ETC is currently doing the best he can to not get value from his heroic ability. Now again, generally speaking, I kind of like the idea that he goes into Echo Paddle and Stage Dive, but he needs to put himself onto the off lane. This is where ETC should be right now. ETC needs to deep push this, and he needs to be there already earlier as they're heading into level 10 and set Varian into the rest of the team if they want to get the value there. Talking value, I don't really see that Pyroblast getting a lot of it. Thrall has also a little bit of trouble to complete his level 4 quest. He got reset now multiple times. The Vikings are pushing the top lane right now, and they're doing work here. Level 13 is also in the hands of the blue team. The tactical suicide setup is really starting to take a bit of a dump onto the golden power setup because, well, there's the shrine finally active. ETC is still not at the top lane. And they could even push harder with Balog moving in, and that's exactly what they're starting to do. There comes ETC. Again, he's, in my opinion, nearly a minute too late here. Could have done way more to de-push this, but at least now they can save it. The problem is that the shrine is now active, and that means there's a 4 versus 5 happening. Quest completed for Thrall, by the way. Too early, again, on Alexstrasza. Well, Dragon Queen into ult. I think someone fat-fingered right now. But yeah, Dragon Queen definitely a little bit too early here. normally, as I said before, you want to use that cooldown a little bit later in the setup. Eric goes down, but the top lane gets still pushed. ETC jumps in. There's a slide. They can go for Thrall, and they go for him. Still gets kept alive for a second, and instead it's Khaldor that dies again. Khaldor down. Mixin is also a little bit in trouble, though. Who am I about to fall, but moves out, and Varian is dead. Wind blades my ass. The meme blades losing out in this team fight once again. Kill attempt once more against Who Am I, and Jesus Christ, they actually keep all of them alive. The Vikings even getting the final hit against good old Reyna. So now with 7 kills against 0, we have a 3-level lead for the Viking team. They're moving through the bottom and take down that fort for sure. Mid lane gets pressured, bronze forever. This is actually one of the games. If you ever played Vikings in your life, if you ever want to shut someone up, let them play Vikings. It's honestly what happens. You can have the guy that is just talking the entire game and he's directing the team, he's a shot caller and he's doing all that stuff. But you let that guy play Vikings, and once the mid game is hit, that guy is not gonna say a single word anymore. He's gonna be, leave me the fuck alone, I'm doing my thing here, I have to concentrate, I'm controlling 3, I'm all over the place right now, you guys do your thing, if you want something, send me a letter. But I can't deal with all of this at the same time. That's pretty much what every time happens when someone is playing Vikings. They are rocking this. I mean, seriously. That Viking setup. Look at the Vikings getting top lane value and mid lane value as the rest of the team is at the bottom, taking down ETC and getting the keep itself to half HP. So, yep, there we have another attack against Varian. Oh, well, Windblades is not doing anything for him right now. Needs to get close to someone if he wants to get value here too. Negative at least is defending the top lane, and I mean, so he should. Currently sitting on 18 stacks for his level 1, so he doesn't even have the quest reward yet. What the fuck is that? Impatience is a virtue? Dude! Where's the Largen in charge? It's literally the talent on the Vikings. And we go for impatience as a virtue? Bro. Seriously, bro. Alright, so after we have already the level 7 on Lunara, we need to talk about the level 16 on the Vikings. I mean, it's literally the talent that allows you to jump into the backline of an opponent's team and wreck their damage dealer solo. So, yeah, again, Largen in charge is the talent. Olaf becomes a stun monster that can set it up for you, so that you jump in with the rest of the team, you go for the spin to win on the hero, and you just obliterate them. So ladies and gentlemen, if you learn anything from this game, then it's that Splintered Spear on Lunara is pretty much a must-have, and so is the Largen in charge on Olaf. So please, can't believe this. The rest of the team should have told him. Again, I know these guys are watching the streams. Alright. Pyromaniac, I like at least that. So the builds on the red team are actually not too bad. They have 1 kill so far. I would say if they can get the level 16 somehow and then fight on the next shrine, they still have a chance here. I mean, again, that AoE damage that we're seeing from Khaldor in particular later on is going to do value. Eric is taken out once, so they're starting to hunt the Vikings a bit more efficiently. It's not quite the German efficiency just yet that we're looking for here, obviously, but they're slowly and steadily getting there. They can now take down one of the big boys. That would be a good start for them. 16 would be a great move into this as well, but we're not there yet. But that being said, once again, we're having 31,000 damage on Lunara, 35k by the way on Khaldor. In the middle of the map, he needs to be a bit cautious of this. Good rotation here again with an early start onto the keep itself. ETC with a power slide. That was an interesting power slide. There's 5 heroes and he didn't hit a single one of them. So now here comes again Alexstrasza. Balog goes down. Ooh, the kill, Anduin! Haha, he survives. Anduin actually survives, saves Koro. Anduin is doing work here, and Who Am I goes down, but he's not the only one. ETC follows. So the cow is dead, and so is Thrall. But they have level 16 now. So that was a fight with the talent disadvantage, and they're still 3 levels behind, but that's the moment when you go for the shrine and try and start your comeback. We have already Ignite taken, so a little bit more value around that. The problem is obviously that at the bot lane, we're currently looking at another push out through Balog. The Vikings will try and pressure that keep again, but in 18 seconds, ETC is going to be back, and his ult is up in 22, so he should be able to defend this. And, well, That said, we're having in the middle now also a push with Bronze Forever, trying to put Eric to some use. Eric is really swift, in case that you didn't know, so he can move away if need be. ETC nearly back, needs to go bot lane. Needs to go bot lane and does exactly that. Okay, I'm a little bit relieved. I was worried that he would just move topside instantly, but that's not the case here. The light well has been taken, and they honestly should at least someone here and try and deal with this. So down at the bottom, yep, there's Olaf. Take down the catapult. There's a little bit of a push. Fight at the top is still raging on. Level 20 is now there, and that's a problem. Tactical Suicide obviously has Storm Talents right now. That doesn't make the case for Golden Power any easier at all. Here comes ETC with a slide against 3 and the kill against Lunara. Mixon is also down. Quest completed for Varian as well, and he's looking for the meme blades now. But the mid lane and the bot lane are pushing, and they are pushing heavily, and that's going to be a keep. Keep is gonna fall here. They're gonna lose slowly and steadily on the macro aspect. Vikings, by the way, the entire game, I don't think the ult was used once. I honestly don't think that the play again was used a single time here so far. I might be wrong, but I have at least not seen it used in a fight. Punisher for a second is a little bit confused and moves on to the wrong side, but yep. Varian in the meantime is down at the bottom. I'm not sure why. I mean, what exactly is Varian doing here? His wave clear is using his massive wave clear to push out the lanes. This is an ETC job, if anything, if you want to send one of your melees over. So again, if you already run with a global, even if it's still on cooldown, it's ETC that you want to have in that position. Varian is one of your aggressive heroes that you're trying to put into play in those setups. So yeah, Varian shouldn't really be the one to deal with this. He just doesn't have the wave clear to really add on that. And as you can tell, ETC has stage dive up now. Now just imagine the situation with the two of them swapped out. They could even fight this and then stage dive in quite easily and maybe even get a bit of a win there. But instead they're having that down at the bot lane. Ult is getting used again. This is the one thing that I would say we're having a bit of problems with on the side of Tactical Suicide, that they really love those buttons. Dragon Queen and Ult get both popped, even though the fight was pretty much over. This is really something you want to hold back for a little bit longer until your opponent really commits to it. But the chances of Golden Power really going for it with them not having level 20 talents were kind of slim. So, yeah. In the mid lane, in the meantime, we're actually having Necron starting to move down to the bottom to deal with that. We're also having now the Intensified Toxin. Personally a huge fan of the upgrades even. But yeah, fight comes on. Here comes also, again, the Pyroblast. This time actually with a bit of value. And Varian, oh my god. Varian goes down, so goes Eric. That's actually a favorable trade here for the red team in my book, because Varian, as we all know, with meme blades is pretty much useless. Eric, on the other hand, is pretty strong. So, yeah, I mean, jokes aside. So obviously at this point, you kind of want to make sure that you don't go that deep with Varian. Him dying there is definitely a problem, and they need to kind of keep him alive. I really feel if they would coordinate their efforts a little bit better, the red team would be in a much better position. Just imagine this with actual power slides onto a target, with Varian jumping in, dropping the quick taunt, and then getting the Khaldor damage out with Fury of the Sunwell and the Burnt Flesh. Oh wait, he went Wind Blades. Yeah, okay. Forget what I said. No, but honestly, like, they could really coordinate a bit better around the CC, and I think they have actually chances of getting a few kills if they go on the same target. The kill against Lunara was already great, but if they can get something else like this for, let's say, Thrall, that would be a pretty good setup. And this is a good example. I mean, Varian is back, so if you can make the play right now and lock someone down, then go for it. But yeah. Have Windblades ever won? Like, I don't even know. I think I had a game in my where Windblades won. I mean, stuff like that, as much as we're memeing it, let's talk about it for just a second. If you're playing against a setup that has 0 stuns and nothing really to lock you down, and you have a team that isn't really coordinated, this is obviously a great target. Because you can simply lock on down to a target if someone keeps you alive, especially with double support, and just shred away. But as soon as you go up against an opponent that knows how to use focus fire and ideally has also a stun setup, Varian is starting to already suffer a lot more. So that is a problem. And the slows on Lunara alone are already an issue for him, just simply because she can make it really difficult for Varian to connect and stay on a target. And then you have also Sundering with a Wolf, you have the Blessed Shield, you have the Condemn in a slow, so that makes it really tricky to get enough value out of him. Up to the top now, or out of the talent. If you play Taunt, it's a different story. Then you really want to have the follow-up burst damage. At the top lane, the keep is also nearly down, but keep in mind that we're now having also Glory to the Alliance. We're having at the same time the Death Metal, Execute, Desperate Prayer, and the Flamethrower, aka level 20 summons. So, despite the fact that we have 3 levels behind pretty much the entire game, we now have them in a setup where they can fight on even talents again. But whereas ETC, not top lane. Guys, again, if you play the global strategy against the Vikings, it's a good setup. But ETC has to be here. There's a reason you have stage dive. And now he was with the team the entire time. Now he runs into the middle trying to do something here. You have to use the value of these globals. Global heroes belong onto the off lane. They need to play safe in case that you don't have full vision of the opponent's team so that they don't get ganked. But your job is to soak experience in the early game and later on make sure that you are actually getting value from that global. Again, Ult more so used to get some stacks here, but I gotta say that those Dragon Queens are just too early for my taste because you want to secure the shrine with those later. There comes the damage and the kill against Thrall. All of a sudden we might have a chance for them here. Keep in the middle on the other hand is about to fall, but it seems like Johanna might die too. Necron's still alive when they make the play, but the Vikings with a move against the Keep in the middle. You gotta understand that a lot of these fights are pretty much 5 versus 4 setups because the blue team never has the Vikings to really help them out here. That's the one thing that is really shocking about this. And despite that, they only have 6 kills. Here comes again the damage output. Anduin doing his best. Obviously, we have the Dragon Queen already back up to business. And they're still at 21 against 38. There's Taken. At least claiming that particular Punisher. The question is how much can they do with that, because now we're having the core already under attack from the catapults and things aren't really looking any better for the red team. They're desperately trying to start a comeback here and every fort matters at this point to negate some of the pressure that is being pushed onto the core of the team on the right side. But then again, if you're looking at this, they have so many lanes now pushing with catapult. That's honestly a bit of a disaster. Up to the top, we're having also that little fight. Usually Eric is pretty swift. I mean, it's literally in the name, so maybe not the one that you want to follow here. And ETC is realizing that he has a bit of a problem and that he might not win that battle. It's 2 Vikings against ETC, and so far he's still doing well. Keep, by the way, is not falling. But, yeah, eventually Necron is just saying, alright, screw this is stupid, and then moves out. Just saying, like, yeah, maybe not really what I need to do here. But this entire setup is just basically the Vikings doing their thing and pushing the lanes, and ETC now trying to death. Needs to push those catapults back, push them back. And, yeah, Core is getting attacked here. Olaf is already on the job too. I mean, again, it's 22 minutes in, so the core shields definitely hurt when the catapults come in. There's the ETC stage dive. Yeah, might get a kill here. No, the heals from Alex are a little bit too much, and the core is still dropping. The Vikings are now on it. ETC is also dead, gets the mosh pit through. There's a pyro blast, and they get at least a kill against Thrall, but the problem is that might be the only thing that they're getting. The core is already falling. The Vikings are getting value. Vakizashi is about to die. We're seeing Gria nearly fall as well, but that core is at 40 hit points. It seems like the Vikings are going to end this. This is game. 22 minutes in, 24 against 22. That's what we're currently seeing on the board, and this is the lead for Tactical Suicide as they claim victory on Infernal Shrines. The first map in our best of 3 here in Division 7. The Viking value. Game number 2, ladies and gentlemen. Tactical Suicide against Golden Power on Tomb of the Spider Queen. Gria on Johanna in our second game. Bronze forever. This time not with the Vikings, with a normal pick, more so. Ophiel, Hurma on Leoric, Mixin on Stukov, Vakizashi on Hanzo. And over to the right side of the map, we have Koro on Arthas, Deoroniak on Liming, Necron again on ETC, negative on Zeratul this time, and Larvain on Alex Traza. Okay, so a bit more of a beefier frontline, not really relying too much on that Varian. That might have been a bit too gimmicky for that setup. The one thing with Varian always shocks me is that eventually you find Varian taking a solo lane in the later stages of the game, and he just is not that solo laner. And a lot of the teams seem to have troubled really identifying that properly. But either way, this is the chance for Golden Power to make their comeback. I really need to see that power here. And the wave clear. This point is already pretty decent on the side of blue team as they're starting to make the rotation. We have Zeratul in the off lane setup. I guess he's not going to be there for long. Yeah, Koro is already sliding over, and so he should. That's definitely Arthur's lane, but that's a good start. Take Who Am I down to less than half HP, and now Koro has a very good setup on that lane. Needs to obviously try and also dominate. I have no idea why he's hiding there. I honestly, like, this is a really good setup of what you maybe shouldn't do on that solo lane. What he just did is he gave an extra globe to his opponent. If you are already ahead in HP and you know that you're winning this lane here, then you want to dominate those two lanes. It doesn't mean that you have to push the minions out, but you want to dominate the two globes and make sure that you don't give it up to your opponent that easily. So you can easily trade into your opponent. What he does now is he moves in as the wave is there, plus the hero, so he takes damage from the wave and the hero itself, and if he just repeats that once or twice, all of a sudden Who Am I is going to be ahead. But the way this all started out is with two heroes ganking him, dropping him to 40% HP, and as Leo is low, he hides in the bush for no reason. He knows that the other heroes are in the middle, and there's no real chance that you're killing Leoric with Arthur's alone. That's not happening. If you want to kill him, you need either the help of another hero that moves in, or you kind of need to kill him over time and put him in a spot where he has to, where he's so low that he has to make the choice between staying on lane and risking death, or instead going back to the Hearthstone. So in this case, a bit of a misplay from Arthur's, and really something that you need to try and consider. If you can control the globes on the lane, and if you can trade in your opponent and force them into trades in your favor, then do that. As long as you monitor the rest of the map and make sure that nobody else jumps in, disrespects the 1v1, and you're normally in a really good spot there. But either way, at this point we're having Zeratul starting to rotate quite aggressively and trying to look for kills here. We have the one good spread at this point actually for Mixon. Oh, and also Eternal Retaliation has been taken. Okay, talent has been slightly changed. So at this point you have another max cap on the talent, but in a more increased cooldown reduction on the individual hits. So the wave clear on the side of Johanna is definitely a lot better right now, and allows her to also go into these waves pretty easily. That's a good kill attempt on the other hand. Bronze Forever's in trouble, but gets healed out by Stukov, and instead the turnaround against Necron on his ETC. Down he goes, and that was a quick kill right there. Nicely played. Psionic Strength now on level 4 on the other hand, so definitely going into a bit of an alternative setup for him now. Yeah, but Jojo, I'm actually interested to see how this is going to affect Jojo's wave clear numbers towards the end of the game. That's something that's going to be interesting for sure. So with 33 gems already turned in, the blue team is currently doing fairly well, and Golden Power still struggling slightly. I mean, they have gems, but they are, first of all, way behind in the gem count. And second of all, when it comes to turned-in gems, they really haven't done anything yet. Down to the bottom of the map, Leo is also still more or less dominating this. 18 on Koro here. But yeah, they're not really doing a lot around the turn-in, and this is a completed one if they get it. There's Li Ming, and she's too late. Blue Web Weavers will be descending. Well played by them, and yeah, let's just see how much value they get out of this. Slight lead, 1 kill against 0, the one against ETC as it heard earlier. Jumping in again with that little maneuver here, as we're having the bot lane already heavily pushed out, but obviously Arthur's is still at full HP. Here come the level 7 abilities, slightly faster for Tactical Suicide, which might allow them to just get that little bit of a lead that they need here. Full Lurking Arm build for Stukov. These days we have actually a couple of Stukov plays within Division S, different builds though. But here's the Growing Infestation again, as they're trying to capitalize on that. If they get a good stun setup, or maybe even the Entomb comboed off with the Lurking Arm, they can definitely find value there. Level 7 already for both teams. And in this case, we have the Icebound Fortitude again for Arthur, as he's trying to deal with the bottom of the map. But right now, Leo is doing a fantastic job here. Pushes him out completely, already forced this. Zeratul comes in, tries to go for the kill assist, but the structures are already taking damage. Leo should be able to move out from this one, and instead it's actually Negative who's in trouble. He has a huge problem right now, needs to be careful. Yep, mass damage against him. Web Weavers, on the other hand, they fall, and the fort is still there. The one at the top lane, on the other hand, is starting to lose the last few final hit points. So that should be an easy one for them. That's a great first objective. I mean, not only did you do a little bit of damage in the middle, you broke through the bottom, pushed this one down to half HP, took down the one at the top. So this is a solid lead right now from a structural perspective for Tactical Suicide, as they have an easy setup there. ETC again with the Echo Paddle. So again looking at the wave clear, as we already see the turn-in coming in for the blue team again. They're 15 shy of getting a second one completed if they drop everything that they hold right now. Johanna, by the way, with 38,000 siege damage, so that Eternal Retaliation on level 1 definitely paying off for Greer. And this is one of the things that a lot of the Division S tank players also noted when they talked about the last patch. They said Johanna was buffed on maps where she was already strong. I haven't seen Eternal Retaliation yet in Division S. We've seen Hold Your Ground, but in terms of wave clear, if you really need it, this is one of the setups where you can play it. So now once again the play for Koro. 28 gems, by the way. If they kill him, that is going to be a problem. But actually survives, and yeah, then moves to the bottom to drop the second fort. So second fort down, closer and closer to level 10 at this point, and obviously now also with a real chance to get another turn in. They need 3 more. But so far, so good from the perspective of the blue team. Turn-in attempt on the other hand by Doroniak. And that's a problem that we really have to talk about a little bit. Both of the teams do... I mean, let's be blunt about this. Both teams do a piss-poor job trying to control the turn-in point and to deny turn-ins to their opponent. Tactical Suicide, they have Hanzo, they have the flashlight on Johanna. If you're in that position and you're so close to level 10, you really want to make sure that there's no turn-in before that. You're simply poking around it. Then once you have level 10, you force the issue, you get your own second turn-in, and you force that advantage. So understanding of the objective here is definitely something where you have to kind of focus a little bit on trying to control the turn-in points. At least from a vision perspective, especially with Hanzo, that's possible for you. So that's something where both of them have to improve a little bit. Right now, it just feels like who's able to sneak a hero away from the team fight and just run to the objective real quickly. That works out nicely. So at this point, oh, there's the setup as they're starting to go in once again with the attempted kill. The Void Prison is already on the ground. If they can capitalize on that, where's the Howling Blast? We need that now. And we get it just a second too late. Who am I, on the other hand, is still caught by it, but there is the Lurking Arm. The kill against Koro, and it is in. Orphea is just chomping and chugging away. Necron, on the other hand, he's trying to move in now too. But yep, this setup didn't do too much with the Web Weavers yet. Web Weaver at the bot lane still with a bit of value, break through the wall at least. But that's obviously something where we're now going to see the wave clear come into play. And them trying to hit that. Yep, Negative, still with his 15. Should be a bit careful here when he jumps down too deep and tries to get that poke damage in. He might be caught at some point and fall. Double checking if anybody is maybe making a play there. Should actually see him too here still. And here comes ETC. ETC now moving in. Level 13 should be great for Stukov, always assuming we're getting the virulent reaction. That wasn't really what we were looking for. It was a nice attempt there by Who Am I, but not quite. It was an interesting idea. There's the Blessed Shield, and there's the arrow. Straight to North America with this one. Yeah, Negative wasn't quite foolish enough to move into range for that particular ult. Top lane is still pushing as well. And in the meantime, we're having, obviously, with 70 gems in their hands, another opportunity for Tactical Suicide to get a turn in here. Only 2 kills so far. We have a lot of action, actually, in this game, but only 2 kills. Mix in with a get the fuck out of the team fight move and the stiff arm against ETC here. Immediately dropping him. Talking about dropping stuff, it looks like we might see the drop against Arthas again. And yep, indeed we do. Arthas is down. Who Am I? Goes for the Entomb again. Says like, guys, I got one this time. ETC, no, push him away, but I think Alexstrasza should still be dead here. And again, does she still have a trait? Feels a little bit weird. Like, I kind of felt that she still had it up, but maybe I'm wrong. So, yeah, Alex goes down. 4 kills against 0. Here comes the 13. And the Web Weavers are coming in as well. So now another opportunity to drop the final fort in the game. Plus, maybe make the play for the first keep here. Usually with this, what you're trying to do is you are going for keep, because this one is going to fall anyways. So that push that we're seeing from the blue team is kind of necessary. If you are in that situation where you still have one fort up, you can just move to the bot lane and start pushing keep. Your opponent will have to react to the keep, or they will lose it, and that means that they have to abandon the middle of the map, and you get this one for free. So the blue team is actually neglecting that right now, which means that they don't get nearly as much out of this particular objective as they could normally. So we can already tell that the Web Weavers are nearly defeated on all 3 lanes, with Zeratul taking over the top lane. So they get a bit of value down here, but as I said before, it would have been beneficial for them to just simply let the mid lane be, maybe push one lane out, and then make the rotation down to the bottom immediately, because you put your opponent in a loss-loss situation. No matter what they do, they will be in trouble, and they will lose a lot. So, yeah. The virulent reaction here, as I said before, if you can lock anybody down into your silence, that would be an absolutely fantastic setup for you. We already have that slight push here through the middle. So starting to make the play again. ETC is actually getting murdered here. Holy cow. Fear goes in and secures the kill. Nicely done. For himself now on Arthur's, also feeling the pain here. Damage output, by the way. Jojo on 63,000 siege damage. Not quite on the same numbers in Ophir. And Leo has also started to take over. But with that kill, they always have an opportunity going. That's a 5-man VP right there, by the way. What? Alright, wants to set up for the VP, I guess. But that was a 4-man VP for sure. But then again, you're 1 hero down. Maybe don't want to take that just yet. 37,000 damage for Li Ming. Talking Li Ming. We're having a pretty standard build for her. Nothing really too insane, actually, in this game now. Still intend to get the turn in. And they have enough gems. Who am I? Should try and turn in at the bottom, to be honest. Hanzo is still there, so they could just simply rotate Leo down to the bottom and get the 26 secured. Which would help them, obviously, quite a bit. Yeah, ETC already face-checking there. Doesn't even get attacked for this one. Here comes the Entomb. ETC moves in. It's a party, baby, but the Interrupters mix in, gets it through right away. Void Prison on the other hand, but the arrow comes through, and so far they're still fine. Mixing could turn this around with a good silence and is trying to set it in. Negative was low. Dragon Queen has already been popped. There's the mosh pit attempt again and the immediate silence. Nicely done. Double interrupt against ETC. But we still have the kill against Ophir as Li Ming and Zeratul tag team the situation and take her down. Second kill only for Golden Power. And we have now nearly level 16 for Tactical Suicide. So despite the fact that this is going to be a turn-in for the team in red, it should be a defense that is made easy by the advantage of the additional talent that they now have. So that's a power spike that you normally don't want to go up against. We again have a Leo with a interesting build here with the Spectral Leech and the Mithril Mace. We've seen this now a few times. Negative, by the way, has to be a bit careful. Mana pool and hit point pool quite low for him. Also now the Universal Carrier taken on level 16. A slight adjustment there. And yeah, they're starting to make that push happen. Ophir is back, by the way. Ophir is back to business, and Leo has his Entomb ready. So this is an opportunity to actually get someone here. Leo is currently sitting at the top lane. We get the silence out. It's alright, nobody moves in for that. They take the Verb Weaver down. Up at the top, Leo is doing the same thing, and they are saving pretty much everything here. They might lose the fort at the bottom of the map, but Tactical Suicide has now suffered through the second objective and lost very little compared to their opponent. As the virulent reaction, the big boy hits, but a nice ult from Alexstrasza. Well played here by Alex, making sure that Arthur survives this time. And the fort is still there. Only gonna fall if anybody gets another combo through. I mean, Li Ming alone could poke against it. Leo can now rotate in and try and see if he can maybe get another Entomb into play. It would allow them to go for another kill, but so far he hasn't done any of that yet. Having everybody else just starting to move down to the bottom of the map once again. We are getting attacked, we are attacking the camp here. Leo moving out as well. This is really the moment when you want to get your next turn in secured and try and make the play for one of the keeps. I mean, Siege Giant's already in, so they're going to enhance that push even more. We have Zeratul now starting to move in there. Leo is still split off from the rest of the team a little bit. They should try and force a fight. They don't have 16. You have Leo with Entomb. Blessed Shield is back up. Arrows coming back in too. You can do a lot of these things even though some of those ults were still on cooldown. You have the level 16 talent advantage and the stats advantage of course as well, with 2 additional levels that they had there. They still hold that, but now they made the play here and they try to go for the turn-in. So one way or another. So I'm having this. Turn-in is about to come in. There's also level 16 abilities now for the blue team. Void Slash taken. Mirror Ball as well. Again, keep your eyes on Leo. Zeratul. This is the moment when you want to go for Zeratul and get the Entomb through. The moment when he actually used his Wormhole. That was a perfect kill opportunity against Zeratul. He went way too deep. Same thing again. You see him blinking in, and there we have it. Nicely done. Exactly what you want to do here. They need to focus him, though, and they just didn't really do that. But the setup was good. The setup was actually great. I really like that. But now the mosh pit, and Leo is down. And, yep, they're going to lose more than that. They need to time... Oh, that on the other hand. Oh, Fia and Stukov in tandem with the damage output. Nice. But yeah, the Lifebinder setups that we've seen from Alexstrasza was great. Not only saving Arthur's earlier, but now also Zeratul. Then again, the Blessed Shield timing could have been a little bit better. But I like the idea. I like that they're paying attention to this. If Zeratul is this aggressive and that greedy, then punish his ass whenever you can. There's another value setup at the bot lane. That fort, that keep is going to fall. And actually, it looks like this might even be game because that core is falling quickly. And there's only Zeratul. Well, forget it. There's only Alexstrasza left. And that's a 2-0 victory. Tactical Suicide takes it in Division 7 here with a 2-0 against Golden Power on Tomb of the Spider Queen, our second map. GG and well played.